Subscribe to Filmfare and press the bell icon.
She's smart, she's savvy, and she's making all the right noises. Please meet my latest guest, Taapsee Pannu, who's wowed the crowds with her performance in Thappad. Let's see how she faces the lockdown blues. Welcome, Taapsee Pannu.
So now that it has come to this, hi Jitesh, let's have lockdown conversation. It's the first time we're having a sit-down conversation, and then we have it during our lockdown.
Tell me, what is your routine like during this lockdown?
Actually, just like a lot of other people, been pretty hectic with those domestic and household chores because me and my sister live by ourselves. We have a sister-in-law visiting, so 3 of us at home, and we have to start. I'm an early riser, so I get up by 7:30 in the morning. I'll clean up the kitchen. I'll water my plants and all that, and do my pranayams in the morning. Then I start working out for an hour. I work out for an hour and then make my breakfast, eat my breakfast nicely, watch something a little bit during my breakfast, and then do my work, be it scripts or emails or whatever things I have to reply to. By that time, lunch banane ka time aa jata hai. Now, the problem with a person who hates cooking is that she loves eating. So now, to satisfy those taste buds of mine, I have to enter kitchen to cook, which I hated my entire life.
So what is it that you have been making regularly?
You don't know. Now I'm going to give competition to my cook and my mother together. I have made everything from chicken biryani to matar paneer, aloo gobi to dal panch ratni and all that, everything. I'm telling you, I've become like a mind-blowing cook. Now I'm going to start finding faults with other people's cooking.
So you use the cooker and all. You're good at using the cooker and all that.
Yeah. I've learned it. I've seen all YouTube videos. I've studied them deeply. I now know all aunties by names. Whoever's making all those YouTube videos, there are some uncles also who are making. So I know them by name, first name basis now.
Also, tell me, does all of this do your choices of films make your directors and co-stars anxious? अरे यार अभी ये तो feminist type वाली picture कर रही है, इससे तो दूर ही रहो.
I don't know if it does because it doesn't happen in front of me. I know they might be. I have a feeling they might be slightly more conscious. It's not like I come on the set and I start talking about feminism. I think I am the most non-serious person on the set because I'm totally opposite to what I end up portraying in front of the camera. And sometimes it will take a while to figure out if I'm the same person who does all these intense roles in front of the camera. So, but I think they will be slightly wary of my screen image more than anything else, because they'll be like, I remember, I'll give you an example. Me, Harshvardhan and Vikrant was shooting for Haseen Dilruba when this whole lockdown was called off. And there was there's a line written for Harsh which is slightly misogynist, but on purpose, which he says to my character. And in that scene, when he says that, he just paused to himself and he's like, ये ना इतनी misogynist line है, आपको कहते हुए अच्छा नहीं लग रहा मुझे. Like, out of everyone, I don't think I can say this to you. I was like, oh God. I was like, no, just forget that, because it was meant to be said in a misogynist way. But he was just so conscious because he was saying it to me, and then that time I was laughing it out so much. I was like, oh my God, what has this done? But it's okay if it makes them feel slightly conscious. I actually don't mind it. It shouldn't come in the way of stopping them from expressing themselves what they feel truly. But if it makes them think twice and then saying it, I'm okay with it, because I think we've lived for so many decades with just saying something out without thinking. It's okay to think a little bit now if times are changing.
Has there been any life-altering moment for you while you were acting and you suddenly screen and real blurred and you decided, oh shit, there is more to me than, there is more to acting than just acting?
Yeah, it did. I think it happened. That bulb, कितना जलता है जो, वो bulb happened when I was shooting for Pink and the courtroom sequences. And I was standing in that Katgara and I was saying that line, that whole entire scene where I say कि किसको अच्छा लगता है जब ऐसे कोई छुए जबरदस्ती. That entire interrogation between me and Mr. Bachchan there, I I also didn't feel like I was acting because by that time I had psyched out myself enough to believe that I am a molested victim. And I was standing there in front of hundreds of people who are questioning my character right now and talking about my, my virginity and all those taboo things that we don't discuss in an open court. I after that whole scene got over, cut was called. I had already broken down in the scene, and then the entire audience was clapping, and Bachchan sir came and hugged me. That day, I realized that this can do a lot more to me than what was happening all this while. It is only that I have to keep myself open to letting it affect me, and that's what I did in most of my films after that. It psyched me out a little bit. I feel every film psychs me out a little bit because of letting it hit me like that. But the output I see on camera or on screen is just so worth it that I think I'm okay to pay that price being an actor.
What about Tamil, Telugu, Hindi? The switch when you were doing, say, the pretty roles in, say, Telugu, and then suddenly you did Tamil films, and then you came to also to Hindi with pretty, and then suddenly there was a world of difference. How do you see, especially handling 3 languages?
Now it doesn't feel much other than the fact that I feel like I need to keep up with my South films. I had always promised myself that I'll do at least one South film in year, which I'm keeping up till now. But I feel like I need to do and keep up the mark because I feel I don't get as many options to choose from in South as Hindi, because South, they relatively are, they plan closer to the shooting date. Like only 2-3 months they have in planning and then they go on floor. Whereas Hindi, they plan for a year almost sometimes. So they come to me only 2-3 months in advance in South, and then I don't have dates. It becomes a problem to take up subjects that way. So I've been having a slight trouble selecting the right script project in South, but that switchover doesn't feel much now that I'm decently familiar with the language. In the beginning, everything was like sheep in the big city kind of a feeling in South because I had no idea about the culture, the language. Never seen those kind of places before. So everything was, even the way the songs were shot, to the things that was happening in scenes, the jokes which sometimes were funny, sometimes were not funny for me. Because there are a lot of jokes which are more slang jokes, which you don't get in a different language. So that was a very, very different time from now, where I'm decently familiar. So now it doesn't feel much of a switch or a difference. Now I have a decent grip there as well.
How do you handle rejection? Has there been a time when you flunked an audition, or some role that you desperately wanted to do didn't happen, and then you see another actor on the screen doing that role, and you're like, oh no, this was mine?
I haven't passed a single audition in my life. Not even a single. And trust me, it's not like I'm trying to brag or anything about it. The fact is, I don't come from a trained film trained, or that kind of a background where I've been to kind of a school or any institute for acting or anything related to films. I don't even have anyone remotely in my family or friends who was guiding me. So I have no idea. So in the beginning, whatever small audition, I have lost in auditions for ads also. So terrible in auditions. That's why I'm telling you, the only thing that has worked for me in acting is the fact that I could psych myself out into believing I'm that and then just play it. That's the only thing. And that can't happen in audition because you don't have the script. You just have that one page and you have someone giving you cues from behind the camera and you have to just read it out. So that's why if you see, most of my films are with people who I've worked with before. That's because they have seen me and worked with me, so they end up working with me again. Be it David
Again.
Sir, Neeraj Pandey, Shrujit Sarkar, or Anubhav Sinha, Anurag. So all these people, they repeat me because they've seen me, so they know what I can do. But newer people, it's very difficult. Now, of course, people have seen my body of work, so they can judge. In the beginning, it was terrible. There came a point where I was like, I'm sorry, I can't give auditions. And they were like, oh, she's acting too smart. I was like, no, I'm not acting smart. I'm telling you, I'm going to fail. So why to waste anyone else's time? So it's horrible. And one of the auditions that I failed for an ad was with Vinil Matthew. He rejected me. He rejected me in an ad audition. I keep rubbing it into his face every now and then on the set. I was like, "You rejected me in an ad audition."
Now you've cast me in your
Yeah,
movie.
in a film. And that too, there are a lot of girls like who didn't do the film. I was not the first choice for Haseen Dilruba. I was probably the last resort for Haseen Dilruba.
Is it?
Yeah, it's just a slightly twisted character, not the regular nice girl or not the regular kind of a story. So it hits you a little, and it's a very gray path that that girl's character is following. So people were not
Yeah.
that comfortable doing it, I guess. So they had to come to me eventually. I keep making fun of it so much. I was like, see, Vinil, what has world come to? You have to take me. There is no other option. You rejected me an ad, but you have to take me now.
Also, in personal life, how good are you at rejecting or accepting rejection?
अब तो ऐसा हो जाएगा कि लोग देख के ये सोचेंगे कि अभी तो जोर की पड़ेगी modern थप्पड़. They're like they've all seen Baby and Naam Shabana. They're like, I don't think I want to get it. So, but that's good. I don't mind that. But initially, also, I have not been someone who, I don't know, I've not been a person who has attracted men that easily. So it's always, even as a kid, when you used to get those love letters and those Valentine's Day flowers and all, ना, मतलब एक लेटर आएगा या मतलब एक फ्लावर पड़ेगा, बाकी लड़कियों को मतलब being in an engineering college, for example, where the ratio of girl is to boy is like 1:6, you're supposed to be flooded with gifts and cards and roses and God knows what. I rarely got any. I don't know why. I was like, okay, fine. I might not be the most good-looking girl around, but I'm a girl in an engineering college. It should qualify to be flooded with all those offers. But no, it was not like that. But I don't know. It was never like I had a lot of guys standing in the queue, kind of, and I had the knack of choosing the most like not so good looking. Let's refrain from using the word ugly. I have a knack of choosing that. Find something very vulnerable in not so conventionally good looking guys, and I'm like, oh, it's just he's so cute. He's so cute, and everybody will be looking at her face. And like, please give us the
इसको क्या हो
lenses
गया?
you are wearing, so that we can also see from that angle, which angle you are seeing. So yeah, it has been a very disastrous kind of choice most of the times. It has not been the most rosy and fun and exciting love life my entire life.
Are you a relationship kind of person? Relationships kind of person?
Yeah. Relationship, like so much so that I'm that annoying girl who, if genuinely falls in love with a guy, will have the whole dream setup of शादी, बच्चे, इसी के साथ शादी, इसी के साथ बच्चे, इसी के साथ घर, इसी के साथ settle हो जाऊंगी मैं. Well, I'm that annoying one. You will imagine the entire future, but not immediately. But when I feel that, okay, this guy is someone I'm getting along with really well in the relationship, when it goes to a serious level, then yeah, immediately I have imagined everything. Like I remember there was one relationship where I was just so sure about him. that I gifted. I got a ring made for him, like a promise ring that we'll be together only. And I wanted to give it to him on his birthday, and it didn't fit him right, so I took it back for repairs. And by the time it got ready, we broke up.
So are you in a
it's
relationship currently?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay. You won't tell us who, when, what, why.
It's not a fact that I have really hidden from people,
Huh.
but it's just that maybe because he's not really from our country or from a profession that excites our country, neither a
Yeah.
cricketer nor a businessman nor a film star. And I was actually almost, you can say, a little conscious of the fact that I don't want to be with someone who is from my profession. With my family or in my personal life in whatever way, I feel so disconnected from the work that it really helps me grow as a human being.
But long distance relationships work?
I'll say that I think long distance relationship really works because it gives you your space, gives the other person the space, but it really tests your sense of security. So how faithful and secure you are as a person is going to be tested a lot. But I feel it really works wonders. But anyway, in a profession like, say, for example, mine, we are barely in one city for long. So jo bhi relationship hogi, eventually ends up looking like a long distance relationship only. So, but it really works. It really, really worked for me.
Have you been cheated on, or have you cheated on someone in a relationship?
You think a person who just imagines the entire life and kids and family with a guy cannot really cheat on anyone?
अरे hot
But
guy
no,
सामने से आए तो हो भी जा सकता है ना?
No, how my sister says is like I am that horse, वो blinders वाला बंदा जिसके लिए world just like doesn't exist when I'm with someone. In that way, I won't be able to see anyone. Like I'm a
हाँ.
person who talks a lot, who makes friends a lot. Like I have a lot of guys who are my friends, and I spend a lot of time with them. But I don't end up looking at them in that way when I know I'm committed to someone. So that has been like that since ever, since like ever. And not that I know, maybe I don't know, but I don't know that if I've been cheated on so far. Maybe I was because, God knows what those exes were doing, but not that it came in front of me in time for me to break up because of cheating or something. Yeah, no.
And finally, give me 3 relationship tips.
ये जो दो जिस्म एक जान कॉन्सेप्ट है ना, ये सिर्फ फिल्मों के लिए होता है. प्लीज डोंट अप्लाई इट इन योर रियल लाइफ. दो जिस्म और दो अलग जान है. सो यू शुड हैव अ लाइफ ऑफ योर ओन फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल. एंड सेकंड इज respect is more important in a relationship than love. I feel any love which has got a base of respect is the relationship that's going to survive for long. Without respect, love is going to fly out of the window. And the third is it is I think I'll just say, just make sure you don't end up being, sometimes we just take relationships for granted and we don't work on ourselves. We are like, चलो छोड़ो, अब तो हो गया commitment, अब भाड़ में जाए, अभी किसको impress करना है या किसके लिए you want to be fun. I don't think, because you would want the other person also to do special things for you no matter how old you are in the relationship. So I think you should just try to be a best version or a better version of yourself, not for just your partner, but for the sake of the relationship and to keep that spark alive. Otherwise, वो taken it for granted वाला जब time आ जाता है ना, that's when people just start looking around for excitement, and I think that's where people end up losing that loyalty, love.
Nice. So hope you keep shining at the movies and wowing us with one performance after the other.
Hope you
Thank
see
you
my
so
films,
much.
Jitesh.
Yes, absolutely. I love you, and thank you for just bringing so much joy and so much meaning into all our lives.
My pleasure. Thank you.